Hello, this week marks the 37th anniversary of the Tiananmen Square massacre. We are speaking with Marxist writer Au Loong-yu about this topic. Au Loong-yu is the author of the book Hong Kong in Revolt, about the democratic struggles in which 2 million Chinese people participated in Hong Kong. And here in Brazil, we published this book. Here it is, which I strongly recommend to all our viewers. Welcome, Au Loong-yu. How are you?
Hi, yes, I'm fine, thank you. Yes, hope everything is going fine in Brazil. Yeah.
Yes. Let's start. This June 4th marks the 37th anniversary since the Tiananmen Square massacre. Can you tell us about the reasons for the protest, how the youth and the working class participated in these protests, and what led the Chinese government to crush the protests?
Yeah, I think yes, the 1989 democratic movement continues to be a very important moments in the contemporary Chinese history, because we there's several reasons for that. Firstly, there had been democratic movements from 1957, the latest, and then we saw this democratic aspiration will explode from time to time. We saw that very clearly already in 1976 to 1980, when there were democratic actions, and then posting their big posters, so-called big characters posters on the wall to demand for democracy. And this accumulates into the 1989 democratic movement. But it was so outstanding because the scale of which is reaching a national level, you may say, which the previous democratic actions or movements were never able to reach that scale. So it represents a national anger against the Chinese Communist Party. And it was just 10 years after Deng Xiaoping's re-emerge as the new leader from being marginalized during the Cultural Revolution. So it was a really national rebellion against the Chinese Communist Party, autocratic rule. But not only, but thirdly, what is also significant, it was that there was a very strong anti-corruption elements in the 1989 democratic movement. One of the triggering factors was, in fact, related to the Chinese Communist Party under Deng Xiaoping's taking the road of restoring first just so-called market relation, but it soon it was clear that it became a slippery slope, that this so-called limited market reform will be broadened by the CCPs until it became a full capitalist restoration. So before that, there was the law of value did not dominate the mode of production, whatever you call it. Yeah? But it was just 10 years after Deng Xiaoping's open and reform era, one witnessed a full restoration to the extent that not only private capitalists were allowed to develop their capital to accumulate their capitals, but first and foremost, the municipal government or the regional government or local governments, they all involved in commercial activities. Often they would set up their own companies, either in the name of the departments or having their relatives and families and cronies to set up companies, and then they actually both act as a protector of this, I would call it a bureaucratic capital. Both act as a partnership and a protector of this kind of capital, which was closely linked to the bureaucracy. So, and the peoples were angry about that. And this was this was one of the reasons that triggered off the 1989 democratic movement. So, in essence, it was a protest also against the Deng Xiaoping's role of capitalism. It was not entirely self-conscious, but there from the big characters poster you could see during the 1989 democratic movements over in Beijing and various parts of the cities. They were still, they were angry at the Communist Party enriching themselves first. So this was a significant was because yes this and then what it was also interesting is there was for the first time that the workers following the examples of the students and the academias who began to self-organizing themselves. The workers also founded their own autonomous workers association, first in Beijing and various parts of China. So it was also a protest where the workers became aware that they have to have a role to play as well. So, but this, of course, alerts the Communist Party even more, and then we could witness and then what was following was a bloody repression.
Okay, and why the Chinese government decided to crush the movement?
Yeah, would you please repeat the question?
Why the Chinese government decided to crush the protests?
Yeah, to crush the protest. Yeah. Well, it's because, as I said, yes, it was in many ways this movement, in terms of scale and numbers of people joined it, in terms of their political awareness, in terms of the class issue, that the workers consciously took part in the movement. It was these factors which was very alarming to the Communist Party, and it must crush it before it's too late. So and of course, fundamentally speaking, that this also reflects one basic fact that many people in the world today has forgot about. Even some of the left has forgotten about that the Communist Party, despite in its 1949 revolution, it has a relatively progressive constitution. It has promoted the land reform, and it has given back many rights to the women. That has been denied for thousands of years in China. But the problem is, the Communist Party was always autocratic. It was always top down, despite the rhetorics of the mass line, so-called. There was never a institutionalized democratic elements within the state. No. The rhetorics of democracy was only meaning that they will consult the people. That before bringing up with some new policy, they will consult the people. Well, what do you think? But even that was more like ritual, a performance. Not there was no substance in this kind of arrangement at all. So the Chinese Communist Party was always autocratic, and top down, and that was because it was a Stalinized, very very Stalinized party. At the same time, it won't allow the dissidents, not to mention conscious opposition within the party, or even within the whole country. So that was why you have repeatedly repressions on people, and so on and so forth.
Okay, you mentioned that the Tiananmen Square massacre happened 10 years after the rise of Deng Xiaoping, and we can say as well the long march of China back to capitalism. Now the question, how does the massacre fit in this march?
You mean the march? You mean the long march?
No, I mean the China coming back to capitalism. Then we have the massacre. What was the effect of the massacre on this going back to capitalism way in China?
Just then, yes, I mentioned that in China, the so-called reform and opening, reform and opening up in China. First and foremost, it meant the restorations of capitalist relations, and the party was the first and most significant beneficiary of this reform. And the government officials themselves actually, yes, often the one those who have the power of decisions in various hierarchy of the state, that they will make that they will enrich themselves in this process, and the people were angry about that.
Okay. Look, in your preface for the Brazilian edition of Hong Kong in Revolt, you wrote about the nature of the Chinese state and defined it as an emerging imperialism. Could you explain in general terms your view on the nature of the Chinese state today, and whether recent events in the international order confirm this idea?
Yeah, well, it's if you look at the economic side of China, China's nowadays China is the second largest economic entity in the world, second largest trading country, the world largest manufacturing country. It is in terms of capital export, actually is outward FDI, foreign direct investments. It has all for the past 10 years. It has always on the top 5 in the world. So there was 2 stages of China's economic relations to the world market. The first period, well, one may say it was between 1980 to 2010, where it was China. Roughly this period, where China was basically performing extraordinarily good in exporting merchandises as the world's sweatshop, cheap products, immense ability to manufacture and so on, and export as well. But since 2010 or even earlier, China's export of capital becomes more and more significant. And then nowadays we have the China is already a one of the top ranking capital export countries in the world. And also what is significant is that in the in the early phases of capital exports, you may question that these overseas investment may not be profitable enough. But actually, nowadays China has become a net has emerged as a net net creditor in the world, which means what foreigners or companies owe to China is much more than what China owes its debt to other people. So China now is also become a net creditor in the world. So it means it is making significant profit. Therefore, economic speaking, yes, China is a hegemonic country, at least a regional hegemonic country. And secondly, if you look at the political side, we all know that after the Second World War, imperialism has turned has become has become less on the military side, because neo-imperialism does not necessarily need to occupy the country, colonize a country, as long as it could, economically exploit the third world countries, and politically, at least, is continues to have big influence over the ruling elites in the third world. So, and if we look at the political side, China China has always been had always been an empire in the last 2,000 years, and this has a historical legacy that it shaped the ruling Communist Party's perspective. The idea that yes, we must restore China's glory in the world. That was always a factor in among the top Communist Party's leaders. And but this is not just a historical legacy. Whereas in Mao's China, it was not apparent. But with Xi Jinping's in power, his claim over the 9 dashed lines over the South China Sea, which Xi Jinping practically claims that the majority territory within the 9 dashed line belongs to China, and even claimed that China's owned this territory from ancient already. But this is just nonsense. But the fact that Xi Jinping's aggressions over the South China Sea, and which is a kind of aggressive actions in relations to all the neighboring countries, Philippines, Malaysia, Vietnam, and so on. So this is this is an act of political and also economic imperialism. So and this also could further lead to this the third point, that nowadays China, the ruling elite, has the ambition to be a hegemonic power, and it also has the ability, first and foremost, the economic ability, and secondly, it also comes with this political ability to serve its objectives of being hegemonic power. Well, but in terms of military, well, one may say that China still has not possessed a global military power. But do not forget that China is the second largest military expenditure country in the world as well. So potentially, yes, its military power could not be underestimated. So putting these four factors together, then it is not difficult to reach the conclusion that China is an emerging imperialist power.
Okay, how do you see the recent meetings between Xi Jinping And Donald Trump and Xi Jinping and Putin. These meetings happened last month.
This is a very big topic and not easy. Is because it's there is no substantial outcome of this meeting. But there are also only there are only interesting comments by Trump, often contradicting himself. But there is a message. But through these outward comments and behavior, there are worrying signs. Worrying to the peoples of Taiwan, worrying to international relations in general. Firstly, is because there is no clear commitment to defend Taiwan in the event of Beijing attacking Taiwan. Whereas in Biden years, it was different. Biden had what makes clear that yes, we will defend Taiwan in this case. But the problem, of course, I am describing the situation, describing the differences between Biden and Trump. That doesn't necessarily mean I support this, Trump or support Biden. No, it's not the case. But I'm analyzing the interesting differences. So, but the problem lies here that Trump's through these comments during and after Trump's finish his summit with Xi Jinping. What is significant more is about this that definitely he has changed the previous president's approach. That on one hand, yes. So on one hand, China, Xi Jinping's will be Trump's instead of continuing the policies of so-called strategic ambiguity, it is obviously very speaking very unfavorably about Taiwan. It attacked Taiwan's stealing its chips, which is not true. And he complains about Taiwan is too far away to defend anyway. But that was not true either, because Taiwan, Trump has huge, or the U.S. has huge military presence in South Korea, in Japan, in Okinawa, and so on and so forth. So and in Philippines as well. So it is the U.S. has already been building up containments against China for a long time. So these islands of chains, right? There's the first chain, the second chain, and so on. So it is not true that Taiwan is too far away to defend. Yeah. So, but these Trump's making these speeches is just trying to screw Taiwan, unlike all the other presidents before there. Of course, previously you may say is all the other presidents are not. Are not even when he said defend Taiwan, but in what sense? So it is the defend Taiwan. So so it is these so-called strategic ambiguities lies, right? Even those even when they say they are defending Taiwan, but you don't know how far they defend. So but China, but Trump actually has downplayed the previous policy, and to adopt a new approach, which someone called it a transactional approach. It treats Taiwan or any other international relation just as a bargaining chips, okay? Just to make a deal. So it is and a deal which not necessarily not necessarily in the long-term thing. Yeah, it may be just a deal for 3 months, for 1 hour. Who knows? So it is so in the end, to conclude, yeah, China, Trump is again is unpredictable. So so we only know some kind of hidden messages being sent out, that he doesn't like Taiwan, and he on the other hand, he tried to pretend that to pretend he was enthusiastic meeting Xi Jinping. He praises Xi Jinping a lot and so on. So this is this weird situation, and so no one knows what comes next, and there is no substance in this summit, except gimmicks and awkward comments and so on.
Okay. Look, for us to close our interview, what do you think is the importance of learning the lessons from the 1989 Tiananmen Square massacre for the international working class, for the labor movement, and for the future of socialism?
Yeah. Could you repeat the first sentence?
What do you think is the importance of learning the lessons from the 1989 Tiananmen Square massacre for the international working class and the future of socialism?
Yeah, there is a. Well, I think that this is very important to learn the lessons. Well, at least in several ways. Firstly, that China. Firstly, it is this year. The workers must, the labor movement must not just just focus on their economic well-being, but they must proceed to gain political power, and to train themselves to be able to govern. If not, this would be abdicating their own power to someone who, well, who could speak a very good rhetoric, but not necessarily they are genuinely working for the labor's benefit. We have seen, the Chinese Communist Party is very good at rhetoric, but these rhetorics, in the end, just serve the purpose of brainwashing the workers that you only need to trust the Communist Party. Trust the party, and then we'll take care of you. But the fact is that no, they didn't. They didn't really cared about you at all, because their privileges were much more important than taking care of workers. So I think here again, when the workers in 1989 began to take matters into their own hands and start to mobilize and planning to go on strike and have marches in the Tiananmen squares to demand for democracy. This immediately trigger off the fear of the Communist Party, and well, the rest of the story is very clear. So workers must not abdicate their political power. We must gain political power through their own mobilization, their own organization, their own consciousness. There is no easy way. But we continue to see, even even in the West, even in countries where you have a kind of representative government, you can see many labor organizations continue to abdicate their political power to or abdicate their own role to agency, to agents. Just like in America, you can see the trade unions continues to support not a labor party, but a capitalist party called the Democratic Party. And we are seeing again and again this kind of failure, that instead of building labor power, political power, they abdicate, and then yes, to some either liberal people or so-called Labor Party, but it was so alienated, so undemocratic that it was not really the representatives of labor. But we continue to select these peoples, and then, well, in the end, we select a master over us. So I think this is a very important lesson, especially as I understand that this interview is run by your union, and I think for trade unions, we really must politicize our movement in order to put a stop on our oppression.
Okay, thank you very much for the interview. We will put Portuguese subtitles, and we will spread it here in Brazil. I think for the labor movement, it's very important to build the links with the struggles of the Chinese students and the Chinese working class. So I think we will benefit a lot from the interview that you have just given to us. So thank you very much, and let's keep in touch. And June 4th will be join the protests, the events to bring back the memory of the struggle of the students and workers in Tiananmen Square 37 years ago. So thank you very much.
Yeah,
Au
you are most
Loong-yu.
welcome, and thank you for having me. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, bye bye,
Bye bye.
bye bye.